Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am really super excited to bring this video to you, and I'm going to try to keep it as short and sweet as I can because this is a very long journey I've been on with regards to my anxiety, and I could go on and on and on for hours talking about this if you let me. So I'm going to do my best to try to sum it up in a short, sweet, informative video for you. So I'm going to do my best. First, I want to say that every piece of information that I give to you guys is going to be free. I'm not asking for any donations or subscriptions other than subscribing to my channel. Liking my videos and just supporting me. That's all I can ask for from you. So let's get started and dive into this exciting journey of mine that I had been through in 2021. I always in my life, since I was a little child, had a pretty low level of anxiety. It was always there. It didn't really bother me too much. It was just kind of part of who I was. But it was always there. I always kind of knew that I was operating a little bit on a higher level of anxiousness than most people. And that was fine until July 21st, 2021. At the time, I was on a continuous birth control pill for endometriosis, which is a whole nother story we can get into another day. I'm trying to keep this short as possible so we can dive into endometriosis another day. But I was on the continuous birth control pill at the time, and I had been on it for a couple years straight. I wasn't having any cycles. And I started to feel a little bit more anxious about normal things that I would do on a daily basis. My anxiety level was a little bit higher than I was used to, but still nothing that I would be concerned about. July 21st, 2021, I woke up, and out of nowhere, I woke up sweating, deep breathing, heavy breathing. My heart rate was through the roof. My blood pressure was high. I felt weak and kind of shaky. Every single thing that came into my head, I was freaking out about. Something was obviously wrong. And I had never experienced anything like that before. It was always just that low level of generalized anxiety disorder. I never had been diagnosed, but if I had to look back onto that, that's about typical of what I was. I was never on any medicines or anything, just dealt with it. That day, though, was a whole nother experience of anxiety that was new to me. And it was definitely a panic attack that I was having. And I had to get things done that day. I had to go to work. I had errands to do. And I felt like all I wanted to do was go in the bathroom and dry heave because I was so nauseous. I had zero appetite. Just the level of anxiety was at a 10 out of 10. After I got done with my errands for that day, I checked myself into urgent care because I felt absolutely something was wrong with me physically. This was not a mental problem. This was a physical problem causing the anxiety symptoms. And I go into urgent care and they test me and they released me within a half an hour saying all your blood work is normal. Try to just relax. Maybe download an app on your phone that helps you calm down and maybe you can sleep better that way, or maybe do some yoga and try some deep breathing exercises, and good luck to you. And they sent me home. Nothing got better. I tried all those things because I was desperate. So I did yoga. I was doing the deep breathing. I downloaded that app on my phone, and I was doing whatever I could because I needed to calm down, and nothing was working. Nothing was working. So the next day, I still am not eating. I'm not sleeping. Didn't sleep at all the night before. I go back to urgent care because I need help and nobody's helping me. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any Xanax or Valium or any kind of an antidepressant to take, or I didn't know. I didn't know what the best thing at the time to do was for myself. I didn't know what was going on. And nobody was really giving me any answers. So I go back to urgent care the next day, and they're looking at me like, weren't you at urgent care yesterday? You were here. We've already helped you. There's nothing we can do for you. And they let me sit in the waiting room for 4 hours before they helped me, because usually the way urgent care works is the people that need the help the most go in first, and the people that kind of aren't that important, kind of can wait in the waiting room, and then they get called back in whenever there's time. And I knew after 4 hours that I was not a priority, which is really sad. Because the way I felt, to me, it was a priority. I needed help. I wasn't eating or sleeping. This is a big problem. So anyway, they didn't even ask me to change into a gown the second time I came in. They just told me, go sit in a room. The doctor will be right in. The doctor came in and said, there's nothing we can do for you. Coming here isn't going to help you. It's not going to do anything for you. And they sent me home with nothing other than the app that I downloaded on my phone and some breathing exercises. I was absolutely hopeless. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know where to go. A couple days passed with still no sleep. I think I didn't sleep for 3 days straight. I didn't eat at all. I wasn't eating. I didn't have any appetite because everything I wanted or saw made me nauseous. So I didn't want to put anything in my body because I didn't want to throw it up. This is how bad it was. I mean, I know people have had panic attacks in the past, and if you're watching this and have had a panic attack, you probably know that it's not that bad. Usually when you have yours, this one was extremely, extremely concerning to me. And the fact that the doctors didn't even offer me a Xanax. They didn't offer me anything to help calm me down. They just said, go home and relax. Go home, and eventually when you get tired enough, you'll go to sleep. When you get hungry enough, you'll eat. One doctor gave me a anti-nausea pill that she was trying to help me to get my appetite back. And that did help me to try to eat something, which I definitely needed to do. And so that helped in that way, but it didn't help in any other way. Doctors really truly believe that it is a mental problem and that there's nothing physical that could be wrong with you, which is wrong. It's wrong. And the reason I'm doing this video and trying to share my experience with you is to help you the next time something like this may happen to you. If you have a panic attack, if you have just a generalized anxiety disorder, something where you're dealing with this on a normal basis. And there's a lot of different types of anxiety out there. And if you have that, my best recommendation to you would be to go to your doctor and ask for a hormone test. At the time, I was on the continuous birth control pill, like I mentioned, and my hormones were out of whack, completely out of whack. My estrogen was super high. My progesterone was super low. And being that my progesterone was super low, the anxiety starts to creep up, and that's just natural. That happens with people with low progesterone. For men, it could be low testosterone. If you have low testosterone, your anxiety is going to creep up and go crazy. So for women and men both, get your hormones tested. Ask your doctor whenever you go to get your physical done, as your normal routine of getting your blood work checked, have your hormones checked. Even if it's a blood test. I don't really love blood tests for hormone testing, but if that's all that you can get and that's all they'll give you, or that's all your insurance will cover, so be it. At least you'll know. And for men with testosterone, it's definitely more accurate than for women with estrogen and progesterone, because when a woman goes into the doctor, it's going to depend on if she is cycling, if she's still going through menses, she's still going to have each month, it's every day of the month, her hormones are going to be different. Every hour of each day, her hormones are going to be different. So it's hard to pinpoint where her hormones are in just one blood test one day out of the month. So that's why I say for men don't have that crazy moving up and down hormone levels like women do. So it's a lot easier for men to get their testosterone checked at the doctor and get a pretty accurate reading of where they're at. And for women, it's best to check about days 19 through 21 of your cycle to see where you're at, just to get, because that's usually where you're the lowest in everything. So during those days, get your hormones checked if you can. If you can set a date to get the doctor to check you during those days, that's perfect. Get those checked then. See where you're at, and then see if you need those hormones. Usually estrogen isn't needed for women who are not yet into menopause. Progesterone is usually the drug that's needed prior to menopause and after menopause. Progesterone is always needed. We live in an estrogen dominant world where it's not only affecting women, but it's affecting men. And estrogen, if it's dominant in men or women, is going to cause anxiety. So if you're feeling like you always have anxiety or you're getting panic attacks often, most of the time, I'm not saying always, because there's always those different situations where it could be something else. But most of the time, it's estrogen causing these attacks, causing these feelings, causing these symptoms. So get your hormones checked, guys. I can't stress that enough. It was my problem. My progesterone was extremely low. My estrogen was extremely high. And as soon as I started taking a progesterone cream every day, since that date, I've been taking one and I feel 1,000 times better. I'm telling you, I feel better than I felt years prior to the panic attack. Even as a child having a low level of anxiety, I feel better than I did then. And so I know that the hormone imbalance was causing all of my symptoms. And I am so grateful to have found a cream that takes away all anxiety. Things that used to stress me out, things that I would get nervous about in the past, don't bother me at all now. So I definitely credit the hormone replacement. And this is not fake progestins. This is a USP progesterone cream. It is a real hormone replacement therapy. There are over-the-counter creams that you can buy on Amazon. I will link the one that I currently use below. Please check with your doctor before you use it. And this is for women only. Men do not use the progesterone cream. Women can use this cream over the counter. As long as you get tested and you know that the progesterone in your body is low, you can use it. But definitely check with your doctor first. This is just what I do. I'm just sharing with you what I have done to make myself feel better. It may not work for you. What may be something that may be going on with you might be different than what was going on with me. So I always encourage checking with your doctor, getting yourself tested, and then treating appropriately first. But I definitely wanted to share that tidbit of information with you because it could be, for a lot of women, it could be a low amount of progesterone in your body causing all these anxiety symptoms that you could be having. So definitely dive into whatever kind of hormone testing you feel is best. Check with your doctor. I think saliva testing is a really good way to do it. Sometimes blood doesn't always, like I said, it's not the most accurate for women. Men, I absolutely would recommend going that route. But for women, saliva test or a urine test might be better than a blood test. So do your own research, check with your doctor, see what is going to be the best route for you and your body. But definitely have your hormones checked on a regular yearly basis. When you go get your physical at your doctor, ask your doctor. You've got to advocate for yourself. You've got to be the one to go in there and say, hey, you know what? I want my hormones checked. They're not going to do it for you. They're going to give you the standard the standard round of tests that they normally give you during a physical. I absolutely think hormone testing is something that should be standard for everybody all the time. I really do. But you'd have to ask them for it. You got to go in there and say, you know what? Hey, I want my hormones tested. Most likely what you're going to hear back is, well, your insurance may not cover that, or there's no reason to do that. If you're not having any problems, there's no reason to test your hormones. Advocate and say, yes, I want my hormones tested. If I need to pay a little bit out of pocket to do that, so be it. It's worth it. It really is, to have a baseline of where you're at so that if anything ever does happen in the future, you at least know where you were when you got those things tested in the past. So you can kind of gauge in the future, when you get future hormone testing, where you were and compare them. Just like any other test that you get done, you can always compare to the past. So absolutely get your hormones tested if you can, and that may be your answer to your anxiety. If you have anxiety, I want to hear from you. I want to hear your story. I want to hear if you have any questions for me. I really, really feel for those out there that have this. It's not a fun thing to go through. I've had all different kinds of anxiety through my life, so I definitely relate. But I never realized during all of those years that my hormones could be the reason for it. And I'm so grateful that I was able to find a solution to my problem. And I hope you guys can too. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Always, if you ever have any questions, feel free to comment. And I look forward to seeing you all in my next video. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye.